Welcome back to the Daily Close. And well, who do we have here? My favorite boy, Crypto-pleb, the man, the myth, the legend, with a Tokyo background. I like that background, man. Based Buddha. How are we doing, boys?
Just happy to be here, man. Just happy to be here.
Always happy to be here. Always happy to be here.
Good.
Let's jump into this quick. We've got a lot of stuff to share today. As always, coming at you with all the alpha in the crypto space. This time is going to be a little bit different. I think we have a couple of projects, and then myself, I'm going to speak about 3 NFT projects that I think you guys should be keeping an eye on, if not aping into, because they're really, really exciting. But before we get into it, please remember that this is not financial advice. Do your own research. We are not financial advisors, so take whatever we say as a grain of salt. And without further ado, let's jump into it. Oh, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, do all that good stuff for us. Only takes 2 seconds and we really appreciate it. So let's jump in. Let me share my screen here. So as I mentioned, I'm going to be sharing three NFT projects, which I think are relatively new, but you guys might not have heard of before. So the first one is Kaiju Kingz. Now their sale, their mint, public sale, came out recently, so they're all minted now. Unfortunately, there was a lot of hype around this one, and this was based on one of the projects that I covered before, which was the CyberKongs, and they've taken sort of like the CyberKongs model and created their own NFT ecosystem with it. So this is what a Kaiju King looks like. They're sort of the pixelated profile pictures are blowing up right now. And so these are actually selling for, I think last time I checked, was about 4-5 ETH. It might have come down a little bit now, but last time I checked, that's what the floor price was. So maybe a little bit expensive for people just getting into the space, but I'll talk about 2 other projects which might be within your sort of budget here. So Kaiju Kingz, very, very cool. You can see this sort of like Gundam mecha type inspired Kaiju King here. I think I think some of them are animated, but basically the 3 projects and Kaiju Kingz included really focus on utility. So if you remember last time, if you haven't watched it yet, go and watch the video where I talked about CyberKongs. But they've copied, as I mentioned, they've copied the sort of utility and how the whole ecosystem works, using their own token. So people who held Kaiju Kingz were able to claim a token called R-Waste. And it even says here on the main website, Kaiju Kingz spawned from the mind of CyberKongs holder and community member O-Dots and his newly found company, Augmented Labs. So it is very much inspired by them. You have the baby Kaijus, which is basically a copy of the baby Kongs. You've got the Kaiju Kingz DAO as well. You've got the Genesis Kaiju. So very, very similar to the CyberKongs with the Genesis CyberKongs, the baby CyberKongs. And guess what? R-Waste is basically the CyberKongs equivalent of, the Kaiju Kingz equivalent of the banana token. So by holding Genesis Kaiju Kingz, you will be rewarded with R-Waste. I think you pronounce it as R-Waste, which you can use to do multiple things, including you've got here, so you get 5 R-Waste a day just for holding them. No hazmat suit required. So what does it say? Yeah, basically you can use it to, I think you can use it to I guess, create, you can trade in the R-Waste for baby Kongs. You can trade it for, I imagine in the future, things like merch, all these different things that give utility to the Kaiju Kingz. I'm not sure what the value of waste is. Let's see actually if it's on CoinGecko. But I think copying a model that's worked very, very well in the past. No, it's not on CoinGecko yet, so I don't know what the price is. But copying a model that's worked very well in the past with CyberKongs is bound to work. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. If you copy something that's working, it's bound to be successful as long as the execution is there. So the first one is Kaiju Kingz. As I mentioned, I really like the art. I really like this pixelated profile picture. The second project is Mutant Cats. You might have heard of Mutant Cats. They're a little bit older than Kaiju Kingz, not by much, maybe a few weeks. But these really blew up. I saw these when these were about 0.5 ETH, and now they're trading around 1.8, around about 2 ETH floor for these. And again, you see a lot of these profile picture NFT projects bringing utility, and a lot of them are bringing their own token. So with Mutant Cats, you've got fish, and I'm not going to go through, everything that fish does, but essentially, the Mutant Cats, it says here, the first DAO that purchases fractionalized cool cats, CryptoPunks, and more valuable blue chip NFTs to be distributed to its members. So if you aren't familiar with what a DAO does, it stands for a decentralized autonomous organization. And these, you can become a member of these DAOs, which purchase these blue chip NFTs like cool cats and CryptoPunks, specifically the Mutant Cats DAO. And so you can own a fraction of these blue chip NFTs. Cool cats they went up to about 14 ETH floor. CryptoPunks are over 100 ETH floor. So just the regular person won't be able to afford one by themselves, but by being part of the DAO and holding a Mutant Cat, you inherently you have fractional ownership of these cool blue chip NFTs. And you also get the fish token. So the fish token, again, is like the banana token. It says here, represents fractional shares of cool cats held in the vault, and you earn 10 fish per day. So very similar concept. I do like the Kaiju Kingz art better than the Mutant Cats art, I have to say. But if you can't afford a Kaiju King, then a Mutant Cat might be for you. And the last project that I wanted to speak about is a favorite of mine, the Peacevoid Groupies. So this is what they look like. They're very, very cool. It's all about sort of like, when you take a tab of acid and you start tripping and stuff. This is you're just chilling and vibing. This is what it's all about, and it's super cool. I love the art. I own a couple myself. And you have all these, you have ones with moving backgrounds, you have one with trippy backgrounds, you have just the standard ones here, but the floor for these are around, I think, 0.75 right now. They went up to about 1.8. But again, they're implementing a very, very similar concept in terms of utility for the holders. Now, all these that I've spoken about so far, Kaiju Kingz, Mutant Cats, and Peacevoid Groupies, have been sold out, so you have to buy them on the secondary market and OpenSea. But I just wanted to go through this article very quickly about the Peacevoid, what's coming up on the roadmap. And some things that I've highlighted is they're going down two different routes. So one of them is the art route, and one of them is the technology route. The art route being more about art drops and contests, merch, toys, that sort of stuff. The technology route is more about the utility, and that's not to say the art route isn't utility. You can get free airdrops for cool pieces of art, but the technology route is more about their token. Again, I'll talk about it in a bit, but it's the peace token. So with the art route, I'm not going to go through this, but I'll link this into the video below, the description below, if you want to have a look. So merchandise, groupie toys, these look pretty cool. I might get one myself. You've got the groupie radio, art contests, all this sort of cool stuff. Art drops. They're going to be collabing with a lot of cool artists. So you'll be able to pick up one of their pieces of art with peace. If you hold peace, if you hold a groupie. So yeah, the technology route is, as I mentioned, the peace token. So this will be the underlying token used across Peacevoid world for all things groupies related. In essence, peace will be used to interact with new features such as collecting artworks and minting new pieces of future secondary collection. So the initial distribution, free lump sum claim of peace tokens for every groupie you own. So the more groupies you own, the more peace tokens you get as a lump sum at the beginning. There will be an undisclosed snapshot. I believe it's not been taken yet. So you still have time to snap one up if you want to. The snapshot date will happen on a retroactive date prior to our snapshot date announcement. So think twice before consider letting go of your groupie. I definitely haven't let go of mine. I'm holding it with diamond hands right now. And again, the peace token is you will generate a peace token every day. You hold a groupie. As it says here, peace will be generated per day based on how many groupies you own, but also how long you've owned your groupie for. So the people who have been holding their groupies for longer will probably get more peace per day. And then more about utility here. The secondary collection will be used to interact with the groupie NFTs in various ways in order to bring your groupie to the third dimension, the sandbox. And this is something that I was very, very excited about. It reminds me of CyberKongz and CyberKongz VX, where they have the 3D version of the CyberKongz. So these groupies will be moving into the metaverse. And so I'm very, very bullish on this project in particular. But those are the three NFT projects that I think you should be keeping an eye on. Relatively new, relatively unknown. I think there was a statistic that about 0.009 people have actually ever bought an NFT that's in the world. So if you're watching this video, if you're thinking about buying an NFT, you're still super, super early. So those are the three projects. I hope you like them. Kaiju Kingz, Mutant Cats, and Peacevoid Groupies. Go check them out. But that's it for me.
That's what's up. Those are some pretty good NFT projects. Yeah, so for me, I'm just gonna jump over to a project that's been garnering a lot of attention recently, and this is NuCypher. And maybe a few people have heard about it before, but I mean, I definitely am jealous of the person who was holding on the 14th, because as soon as it came on the 15th on Friday, as high as 852%, came back down to about,
Jesus.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Just in one day, back down to 582. I mean, if you're still holding now, back then, you're still at a 441% profit overall. And this is within the last 3 days. And so, I mean, when you see big gains like this is a good reason why you're going to start seeing more and more videos on YouTube, more articles being written about these kind of projects, because people see the money. that's what makes it quite interesting. But yeah, so I mean, quite simply, the reason why it's been pumping, NuCypher has been pumping so much, is that it has a merge that they first discussed back in March, that they're still pushing forward now, and gone through a number of different obstacles that are in the way, but they've more or less gone through a lot of these. Actually, let me just fix that. There you go. And yeah, I mean, it's just to go into detail here. I mean, like NuCypher is what it focuses to do is create privacy by with encryption services that can be used on different blockchains. And so that means that if you're going to send data through a public blockchain, you can actually encrypt the data that you're going to send through using a service like NuCypher. That gives an added level of privacy and protection to the sender. And that's nowadays, when privacy is more and more of a concern for many people, this is just something that just makes sense. This kind of project. Yeah, simply enough, yeah, share private data between one another on a public blockchain, eliminating the need for a private network. And they are merging with Keep, which is very, very similar as well. Project focuses on providing users with a way to share private data on a public ledger. And once they do come together, so you guys hear about the hard fork. They're considering this like a hard merge, two projects coming together. But when Keep and New merge into a single protocol, it'll be called Threshold, and people will have a token called T, is what it'll become from now. From once the merger is complete, become T from that point on. Some other things I found quite interesting. I mean, both of them are layer 2. So this is on Decrypt. You can find. I have a lot of different articles. I'll put it down in the comments below, so you can review these for your own research as well. But I mean, yeah, both being layer 2 solutions for privacy. Right now there's 3.9 billion NU tokens, and there's 1 billion of Keep, and then the new T token will have a supply of 10 million once it comes out, and then with that number to inflate at a rate set by the new decentralized, by the new DAO. Okay, that's just a quick review of the tokenomics that will be shaping up to be at that point. But I mean, to get the new token, holders of either have to wrap them in a smart contract, 45% current Keep holders get 45% of 10 billion T tokens, and NU holders get about 45%. The DAO gets the remaining 10%. Okay, but no, it's I mean, it's a very straightforward project. I'm going to go to the website so everyone can see what it's all about. But I want to kind of jump into the Hopium real quick because there is a lot of good things coming out about it. This is yet another article on NuCypher. So I scroll all the way down here to what it's planning to do. Its roadmap from now, and by the end of 2021, once Keep Network and NuCypher merge, more community discussions, introduction of a proposal to stop current network inflation for NuCypher and Keep. It's good for holders of money. Whether it's changing how they do their elections, launching of the new tokens of T, and then rallying for integrations for T BTC version 2 with other network and protocols to accelerate adoption. So I mean, they have this project's been around for more than I think 3 years, but it seems like based on all the information that's recently been coming out, they've done a pretty good job annotating everything that they're doing. Let me just jump on over to the actual site. So if you go over to the NuCypher website, I mean, it's very well made. It's just quite quite a good UI here interface. But you can just go to the website. You can get as much information as you'd like. They also have a description of the different tools they have on the platform, from their PRE, proxy encryption tool, and more. They do have a white paper and other kind of forums that you can get into. You can also view their GitHub to see their code, very open source. But yeah, I mean, just in general, I mean, it's all about just privacy, and here's an example of how it actually worked in practice, which you can read through your own time as well. But this protocol, along with services for providing privacy, also has ability for you to stake tokens on it as well. Actually, they have plenty of information here detailing about the kind of services, like the work lock for our initial node distribution model. For stakers on the network, you can be rewarded, obviously, for participating in the network, which is good for it. But I mean, overall, from what I can see of the platform, it's very well put together. I mean, obviously, there's some smart people at the helm here. Staking, I would say, compared to maybe other protocols that you stake in, there's probably not a huge amount to be amazed at. But I mean, I'm just, if you just go back to what the current gains are making and how bullish people are feeling about the platform overall, and just for the utility of such technology, especially within the space for privacy concerns, now this is just going to keep going up. Now, would I say should you yeet in money right now? I mean, you need to do your own research. I'm not a financial advisor, so I don't want to put you in a bad position. I mean, there could be definite gains. I think it could be going up from this point onwards, especially when it gets more adoption and more notoriety. So there is money to be made here for sure, but trade carefully. As with anything that goes up such an extent, there's always going to be a drawback down, and you don't want to be holding that bag. But yeah, I mean, if you want to find more information about it, definitely check out its Reddit as well. Reddit, plenty of information. I got most of my links from Reddit as well. They have a new Reddit made for Threshold coming out as well too. They really strive to keep the community up to date on what's going on. But this is, it's been popping off lately. It caught my attention. I think the viewers should also take a look into this project as well. It's a lot of big gains can be made here. I think this might actually be going to the moon. But yes, quick and easy there with NuCypher. I'll move it on to Base Buddha now.
Awesome. Thank you, Crypto-pleb. Yeah, I mean, I agree. Privacy coins are always going to be in trend just by the nature of their function. So let me share my screen real quickly. Here we are. So what I'm going to talk about today before I get into it, what I want to share is, if you guys have not heard yet about the news that Steam, the gaming company, Valve and Steam, basically they decided to ban all games with NFTs or cryptocurrency. The exact wording that they use is applications built on blockchain technology that issue or allow exchange of cryptocurrencies or NFTs. And we all know how big NFTs are getting now. So this is not a wise decision. I mean, they're not going to make it, pretty much. But the reason why I mentioned this, not going to make it. I mean, yeah, probably going to, the user base is probably just going to plummet, to be honest.
Worst decision in the whole existence.
I'm pretty sure they're gonna do a U-turn at some point and accept blockchain games again. But the reason why I bring this article up is because I want to emphasize how important play-to-earn games are. And one particular project that I've been researching is one called Nakamoto Games. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but basically, Nakamoto Games is a platform that allows for a suite of games to be developed on it and play on it. So it is like Steam, right? There's a number of games on Steam, whether it's like Counter-Strike or I can't think of others at the moment. But Nakamoto Games is based or founded in Thailand. And I'm just going to read a few points of the recent article, which was posted just about 15 hours ago, in response to Steam's announcement. So NFT and cryptocurrency games are being banned from major online gaming platform Steam. The company has decided to ban any games associated with blockchain technology, which includes NFT-based games. Now, we all know of Axie Infinity, which has the price action has soared, but also the user base and people are making a good sustainable income from it, right? So this is the goal of play-to-earn models. And this is what Nakamoto Games is also trying to do, but based in Thailand. Of course, we as users across globally are still able to use these games as well. But I really think companies like Nakamoto Games who really want to galvanize their country and basically help them generate some kind of source of income it's a great endeavor, I think. So yeah, a few more points. Games like Axie Infinity have brought lucrative earning opportunities to internet users worldwide. Masses of netizens in countries like the Philippines have turned to NFT games to generate a viable and sustainable source of income. Now, companies like Steam, however, have the discretionary power to ban certain categories of games, and specifically the permissionless nature of blockchain NFT games are what they consider a threat to them. So Nakamoto Games is addressing this critical gap in the market by launching a decentralized ecosystem of play-to-earn games. Now, Nakamoto Games, they release their own in-house suite of games into the marketplace, but they're also providing developers with tools to develop games within that marketplace, which I'll share a little bit further down. Now, although they release their own suite of games, the actual architecture of this marketplace remains decentralized, right? Number one, it's decentralized Web3 model, which is basically the feature. And Nakamoto Games does not maintain control of the games on its platform, the ones that are deployed in their marketplace. So that's a key distinction between what's currently happening in sort of the traditional gaming space. And the last point about Nakamoto Games is they have something called NAKA, which is their in-game currency. I'll go into that further, but that's also created. It's a token for both users and I guess investors, but it's also for governance as well. So let me get into the actual website. And this is what it looks like. What I mentioned before is that it's like Google Play Store or Apple's App Store, which allow for basically a platform for both players and developers. So if you I would equate Nakamoto Games to that type of store, right? The only difference is that they're not going to prevent sort of the monetization of games, as we see with Apple, and especially the whole the lawsuit with Riot Games and Fortnite. That's a bit intense. Now, one other aspect of the Nakamoto Games is their in-game currency, or the token, the NAKA token. I mentioned earlier, it has 3 functions. One is to allow people to play. The NAKA token is the in-game currency. It's the fuel for gamers to participate in any of the games on the platform. The first game is a shooting-based game where these NAKA tokens will be used to acquire ammunition. So again, when people develop on this platform, they are going to be using this NAKA token. I'm going to later show the price action on the NAKA token and explain why I think I'm really bullish on that. The other aspect is it's used to earn. So the NAKA tokens are used in games that are used in games are pooled into a weekly prize pool and partially burned. The gamers who rank highest on the leaderboards for individual games will be distributed rewards from the prize pool. So again, instead of just playing the game itself, outside that, the actual in-game, outside the game itself, you'll have opportunities to win rewards, which is great. It's also deflationary because it's the actual token that's burned. And lastly, the governance aspect. Token holders will be able to participate in the governance of the platform. They'll be able to vote on certain proposals that would change the actual the store itself, or this platform, and I guess also the destruction of different weekly prize pools and rewards and etc. It's open-ended. Again, the emphasis here is that Nakamoto Games is decentralized and permissionless. Now, further down, in terms of the roadmap, we talked about the shooting game. Q4, right now we're in Q4 2021. They recently launched a game, a game called Duck Hunters, and it's right now in the beta stage. The second game coming out is called Aeroplane Warriors. I've not seen any videos or any pictures on that. I've only seen Duck Hunters because the beta's out for that. But it looks like the actual airplane game will come out Q1 of 2022, so from January onwards. Another key thing in the roadmap is that they are releasing a software development kit. Now, what that means, for those who don't know, is they're basically going to equip developers with the tools to be able to build games on their platform. And one other key component of Nakamoto Games, which I think is going to really stand out, is they're allowing development for these games to actually be on mobile. Now, that's not something I've seen so far in crypto gaming, not as prominent at least. So we see individual games, but we don't see an actual platform that will give the tools to create a whole suite of games for the mobile. So that's one bullish thing I'm thinking about. Team itself is pretty stacked. We have good investors, even partners as well. Polygon, X21. I mean, when I first saw this website, they probably had like 3 lines, and now it's continually growing. So A2DAO, Black Dragon, I think they're just continuing to garner more attention and investments. I wanted to show the actual Duck Hunters game, but unfortunately, I've seen this before, but for some reason, it's not showing up in my video. So if you guys type in nakamoto.games/prototype, maybe just double check. You should be able to see a video image of the actual game itself, Duck Hunters. Now, what it actually looks like is basically like this. You're out shooting ducks. It's quite fun. It looks quite fun. Kind of like a first-person shooter game. And let me get into the actual price action of Nakamoto Games, because I want to show. Oops, hold on a second. So NAKA, the actual in-game token, right now is sitting at about $2.03. It's within the past 24 hours, 39. Is it 24 hours? Yeah, 24 hours, 39.7% up. It's pretty good. Pretty good. I would not, so at this moment, I would not recommend buying the NAKA token just because it was recently launched and released. So their ICO and IDO was both done on a DEX, like Uniswap, and also an exchange called KuCoin, right? And this launch was it was listed on October 15th, so just about two days ago or so, and on the Synapse network. Now, the actual price of the IDO and ICO was 18 cents. So just a small fraction of this. So what I want to emphasize here is that, like all ICOs and all IDOs, I did not want to present this earlier because I think people lose a lot of money in these types of things where they ape into the coin on like the first first 30 minutes or so, and then there's a predictable dump, right? Because all these seed investors for the IDOs, the people who got into the actual listing for the IDO, I think they were able to their tokens were released 50% just from the actual listing date, and I think 25% every month. So that's a large portion of people, and I think on KuCoin it went up to about $8, and Uniswap is about 5.7. So be wary about this. But the reason why I want to still talk about it today is because I think it's got the potential to do something like what Axie Infinity did, right? What I mean by that is, when you have the NAKA token be the in-game currency and used for playing, but also rewards and also governance, the actual value of NAKA, the token, is going to grow as long as the user base and adoption grows. So the first game did come out. It's in beta stage. And there's only people testing it at the moment, but I believe it's going to be playable in the near future. Aeroplane, I mentioned, is going to be in Q1 of next year. So, I can't say right now that this right here is the bottom, about like 1.25. It's unpredictable, but for those who are very interested, I would keep an eye out on this chart and keep an eye out on the actual user adoption. And if you see or hear news about, people developing on the platform and users playing on the actual platform or these games, then I would consider it quite bullish, and you'd probably want to get in there before everyone else, right? So yeah, this is one game, one, I guess you can call it a game, but it's a platform. But this token that I'm quite bullish on, I think, again, it has a potential to do what Axie Infinity did. So, if you're a long-term investor and you just want to buy into it now and hodl forever, or a few years, then I guess anytime's good. But again, this is not financial advice. I'm not liable for any financial decisions you make. But this is my 2 cents on this, and I just wanted to share this with you guys. So that's it for me.
What's up? Looks good, man.
Excellent. So a little bit different today. We've got some NFT projects. We have an NFT gaming token, and we also have NuCypher as well, which is an excellent project. Thank you guys for coming on and sharing this alpha with everyone. We try and do this as often as possible. And if you like the content, please do like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification as always. We're trying to our best to answer all comments. So keep on comment, keep them coming. We'll do our best to reply. But yeah, just remember that this is not financial advice. Do your own research, and we'll catch you in the next video.
That's right, man.
May the pump be with you.
Maybe the pump be with you.
There you go. You got it. Dang it. May the pump be with you too. All right. There you guys.